It is, of course, Friday afternoon, and you know what happens on a Friday. It's Movie Friday, so it is time, once again, for our movie critic, Van Connor, who gets to see all the movies before we do, because that's his job, to come on the show now and talk about a couple of new ones that are out this week that he can be honest about. And as we always say, Van Connor is always brutally honest about what he sees. Good afternoon, Van. Welcome back.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Bourne. I'm glad you appreciate the honesty. Some don't.
Well, I mean, I guess that's really what your job's all about, isn't it? You can't just say everything's amazing. If it's not fair that way, is it?
Well, you could, but then you'd work for The Guardian. So.
Right, so we got two crackers out today. Well, I say two crackers. That's up for you to say, really. Now, are they both out in the cinema or are they streamable? How's it working?
They are both out in cinemas in the UK. If you're in any other country in the world, you can stream both of these, annoyingly. But they are in the UK, in cinemas. I can tell you at least one of them absolutely deserves your ticket money. Ooh. So don't walk, run.
Right, okay. So where do you want to start then?
So should we start with Bros, which is a new rom-com. I think it's largely being marketed as, the first mainstream gay studio rom-com. This is being distributed by Universal. It's written by and stars Billy Eichner, best known for Billy on the Street and his role in various cable comedies over the years, like Parks and Recreation, things like that. He co-stars here with Luke Macfarlane in a film that's been directed by Nicholas Stoller, who, for my money, never did better than I Love You, Man, which was a film about male bonding in a different way, I suppose. Here we have literally a straight-up rom-com. It's effectively When Harry Met Sally, but with two gay men in modern NYC, two people who don't really feel like they want to commit to one another, but they like each other and they get along and they decide, let's give it a go. Anyway, I've got a clip for you. One of these guys, the main guy, Billy Eichner's character, Bobby, happens to work as the director of the New York LGBT Museum. I've got a clip for you. This is him trying to decide what their new focal exhibit is going to be.
What if the final exhibit was a recreation of a queer wedding?
I like that.
Okay, that I don't hate.
Tamara, that is so sweet. I love that. And people can come and register for wedding gifts here.
You're gonna write that.
Oh my God, and no! That is old-fashioned heteronormative nonsense. We need to get people to rethink history through a queer prism, not comfort them with another gay wedding, all right? It's a museum, it's not Schitt's Creek.
Oh, I like Schitt's Creek. I love Schitt's Creek.
That show has layers.
Everyone loves Schitt's Creek. Great, okay.
That's who you remind me of, Eugene Levy.
Okay, I mean, I'm kind of drawn to this because I feel there's going to be a lot of comedic moments in this that will make you chuckle.
Yeah, there are a fair few. There are some good laughs in there. I don't think it's laugh-a-minute hilarious. I think in terms of the comedy, I think Trainwreck, to which this is quite comparable in many ways, good and bad. Trainwreck, I think, had a higher hit rate for gags. A lot of this, I think, comes down to a little bit more on the emotional side. And it lands. I think it's a bit laboured. I think it loses itself in trying to be too much all at once. And then as a result, it doesn't overly succeed at anything. And you wind up coming away feeling like it's done better in being a work of representation than in being a straight up rom-com, in being that, a movie that is romantic and comedic at the same time. In terms of that, I do think of Happiest Season from a couple of years ago as well, which was a gay Christmas rom-com from a couple of years ago with Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie Davis, I think, which, if I'm being really honest, I liked a lot more than this. I thought that had a lot more going for it. I think it played more on the Christmas theme in that case. Here, I kind of felt like I was watching Trainwreck Light, even to the extent that it kind of cops out in the same exact way that Trainwreck did. And I say that as a fan of Trainwreck, but, your mileage may vary. I know Billy Eichner has, a lot more diehard fans than myself. So I think there's going to be a lot of people that flock to this purely for Billy Eichner, and I think they're going to be very, very well served by this. It's the vehicle that I think his fan base have been waiting for. And to be fair, he is very good in it, as is Luke Macfarlane. They've got great chemistry. They're a great pair. And there's a wonderful, wonderful recurrent cameo for Deborah Messing from Will and Grace as well.
I mean, has it got any serious sides to it? As in, does it display some of the issues that maybe people in the LGBTQ plus community might face?
There are a few, and I can tell you I came away with a full A4 sheet of questions to ask friends of mine, like, is Grindr really like that? Because Wow. Just many things that I don't think either you or I would really know offhand. And the answers to most of them, I was just disturbed to find out. Oh, yeah, that's pretty on the money. So I think there's a certain life experience that I think you're going to find a relatability in this. And by all accounts, it's quite raw. It's quite biting. But I think outside of that, as a film in its own right, it doesn't quite measure up for me. Doesn't make the train wreck a barrier for me.
Okay. And that's out in cinemas from today, I think you said, didn't you? Yeah.
From today, bros.
Now, I know that you are a bit more confident and happy about this next movie, Barbarian.
Yeah, did the shirt not give it away? Did the shirt not give you away that I was in the mood for a horror movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
We should describe what you're wearing here, Van. I think you're going to have to do that now.
Bloody handprints on a white t-shirt. There we are.
Yeah, there we go.
New movie from Zach Cregger, who is originally one of, quote, the whitest kids you know. And that's not a judgment. He's actually part of a comedy troupe called The Whitest Kids You Know from the early 2000s and has now gone into horror. And evidently, rightly so, because he's very, very good at it. This is a story of a young woman played by Georgina Campbell, British actress, playing American here, who turns up to a Detroit Airbnb. At night, she can't see the area around the house because she's only following the sat-nav. It's raining.
Of course.
She turns up at the Airbnb, knocks on the door. Someone's already there. They've double booked effectively, and they decide, you can't go anywhere. It's the middle of the night. You've arrived late. Just stay in the bedroom. I'll stay on the couch. We'll work it out in the morning. And they get through the night, and the next day they start to delve into what has actually happened. And this being a horror movie, you can guess that all is not quite right. I don't want to spoil anything for you. All I'll say is Justin Long is in this movie. It's a little bit psycho. It's a little bit Don't Breathe. It's a little bit Wrong Turn. And there's a prolonged element of... actually, no, I can't even really say that on the BBC. There's some scary stuff happening. I'm going to give you a clip, but this is not when we get to the scary stuff. This is just, the young couple being introduced. This is Bill Skarsgård and Georgina Campbell.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, who are you?
What? Who are you?
This is 476 Barbary, right?
I don't know. Yeah. I think so.
You don't know?
No. I don't live here. I'm renting this place. It's the middle of the night. I don't have it top of my head, the address.
No, I'm renting this place.
What? Are you sure you have the right place?
Yeah, I booked it like a month ago.
This is unbelievable.
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. Why don't you come inside and we'll call these idiots.
Her American accent is pretty good for the starters.
Oh, yeah.
I'll start with that one. Secondly, this isn't going to be one of those movies like Scream where it's just predictable. Every turn is predictable. You know what's going to happen and you get a bit bored with it.
You thought Scream was predictable?
Well, you know what I
Really?
mean? Almost, I mean like that kind of tongue-in-cheek cheesiness that Scream has got with it. I mean, you've got to admit, it's got that cheese side to it.
Well, I mean, maybe in hindsight, you got to remember that Scream is a revelatory movie that absolutely changed its entire genre, 25 years ago when it was released. And also, I have just done a 12 Days of Halloween special in which I actually picked Scream. So I really am the worst person to say that to. As I said in that one, Halloween defined the genre, Scream redefined it. It deserves credit forevermore for that. The late, great Wes Craven there.
Still cheesy.
For me, this one though, very, very different thing. I mean, as far as predictability goes, toss that right out the window.
Great.
Because you're not going to get where this is going, man. You're not, and you're going to love every minute of it. It's nasty, it's visceral, it's a cruel watch at times, but it's also quite funny in that almost quite believable, realistic way that really depraved situations have to have an innate sense of humor about them because that's just real. And that's just the reality of the situation. You have to laugh, kind of thing. You get that when you've got an actor like Justin Long in the cast, and I'm a big Justin Long fan. Have been. I think Accepted from 2006 is still one of the all-time great comedies. It's underrated, I tell you. But this. Wow, this is going to go absolutely gangbusters this
It's
Halloween.
got like jumpy moments in it because, of course, for me, a horror movie has got to have moments that literally make you jump out your skin when you're watching it.
Yep, loads of great jump scares, loads of fake outs. It's really twisted. It's really subversive. I really enjoyed it. But also, it it falls into certain tropes that you know and have come to expect of the genre, but it does nice inventive things with it. I will say, I mean, I've never seen Don't Breathe 2, but I will say that this is better than the first Don't Breathe for me, if you've seen that movie in recent years, because this owes a lot to Don't Breathe to an extent, Psycho and Wrong Turn, as I say, as well. I think it's a really strongly made film with really great performances. I think it's got a palpable sense of atmosphere and tone. I think it's hands down the absolute film we needed in the multiplexes this Halloween, because we've got nothing really for scary movies this year. Yeah. I mean, Halloween Ends was a massive dud. Halloween Ends was a movie so bad that we're all actually reappraising Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which is not a thing I ever thought would happen. I was doing that on Paul Ross's show this morning. I never thought that would happen.
Brilliant. All right, well, if anyone wants to make their own mind up and really get into the mood for Halloween, which is, of course, on Monday, Barbarian out in cinemas from today. Thank you very much, Van Connor. And do you know what you're going to be reviewing next week? Yep.
Ooh, we've got so many good things to pick from next week, but I know that Enola Holmes 2 is next week, and that's got a lot of people really excited. I know that the week after that, though, is what I'm really excited for, because Black Panther's that week. So this next week is a crammed one that I'm kind of just getting through so I can get to the Marvel goodness, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we shall speak once again then a week today, next Friday. So have a lovely weekend, fella.
Till the next time, good sir.
Thank you very much. Right then, it is 8 minutes to 4 on BBC Radio Oxford with Dua Lipa now.